It feels like there are now more microbrands than there are grains of sand on a beach. And I'm sure as a new collector, it can be hard to know exactly where to look. So in an attempt to streamline the process, here are my top 10 affordable microbrands. I'm also going to be ranking these microbrands today from 10th place all the way to 1st. So stick around to see who I think are the top 3 microbrands on the planet. Hello there, my name is Kieran, welcome to Top Tier Ticker. I hope you're having a good day. Okay, so I've set a few rules to be included today. I'm only going to be including established microbrands, so ones that have been going for more than 2 years. The microbrand must have at least 3 different collections in their catalogue, and generally, the majority of their offerings have to come in under $1,000. I'm by no means saying that these are the objective best microbrands on the planet, but from my experience, these are my top picks. If you think I've missed a certain brand off this list today, there's a high chance that I haven't got hands-on with them yet, so feel free to share the brands that you think deserve to make this list down in the comments. I was thinking about maybe doing this exact same video again, but with established brands instead of micro brands. So, you know, your German, Japanese, and Swiss brands. If that's something that interests you, then get this video to 1,000 likes and I'll make it. And as always, I'd love for you to hit that subscribe button and join our little community. I'd love to have you. Okay, so coming in 10th place, which is no bad thing by the way, considering how many microbrands there are in the world, we have a brand from the Big Apple, New York City. Now, the reason why Brew Watches makes the list today is slightly different to other brands. It is so hard these days to have your own style. Originality is difficult when there's only so many shapes and colours you can use on a wristwatch. But somehow, Brew manages to do it. The whole brand is coffee inspired. From the name to the logo to their watches, the metric is their hero piece, which uses the chronograph feature to time the perfect shot of espresso. And Brew aren't scared when it comes to unusual shapes, asymmetrical designs, and funky colours. Meaning that yes, they produce rather niche watches, but watches that likely don't look like anything else that you own. There's a clear aesthetic running through the spine of their catalogue, sporty, quirky, and full of energy. Some watch brands focus way too much on ticking boxes and forget that we buy watches because of how they look. But that's not the case with Brew. Yes, they're still great value with most watches well under $500, but their designs are simply top tier. I bet a lot of people weren't expecting to see a Chinese brand feature on this list today, because to be honest, although the majority of them offer great value for money, a lot of them are seriously behind when it comes to the design department. However, I don't think that can be said when it comes to Phoibos. You see, Phoibos is slightly different from other Chinese brands. Firstly, they don't sell their watches on AliExpress, which I think adds a layer of authenticity to the brand. AliExpress is a huge marketplace, and it would make a lot of sense for Phoibos to sell on there. But then you're associated with some of the crap that gets sold on the platform. But Phoibos sells direct. They took the hard route. And I think that's because they know they have a superior product to most AliExpress watches. You see, the epic value for money is still here. Almost all Phoibos watches are $500 and under. But where they really separate themselves from other Chinese brands, their designs. There's a clear focus on originality here, experimenting with unusual shapes, funky colour combinations, and sometimes just outright crazy designs. Okay, so coming in 8th place, and a bit of a hidden gem microbrand compared with others on this list, we have a watch brand based out of the UK. In just a few years, there's been new British microbrands popping up left, right, and centre. And it's great to see, don't get me wrong, but it's hard to know where to look. But one of my favourites, actually my second favourite British microbrand, Monro Adventure. You see, these guys offer a great mix of rugged capabilities with everyday designs, which means that these watches tend to look good with almost any outfit you might wear, whilst having the capability to take a beating. Their catalogue currently consists of a world time GMT, a fully capable diver, and an everyday sports watch. The most ambitious release being their GMT with its wired lugs and 44mm case. But what turned me into a fan of this brand is their diver. The Ocean Adventure is a home run winner. A gorgeous highly double dome sapphire, and a great bracelet and clasp that feels honestly 5 times the price. If you want great value with great designs, Monro is where to go. Next up, we have a brand that simply makes beautiful looking watches. I don't know who the designer is for this brand or where they draw inspiration from, but my word, do they know how to make some sexy looking pieces. Now, you don't get the best value for money with this brand. It certainly isn't bad by any means, but you'll for sure find better spec for the cash elsewhere. The only problem is, I don't think you'll find watches for cheaper that look as good as these do. Venezianico is a brand based out of a small town just outside of Venice, and these guys really play on that Venetian style. Every Venezianico caseback is a work of art. Genuinely some of the best looking casebacks I've ever seen, which would be a shame if the front of the watches didn't also look $1,000,000. The designs here are very classical. They don't go too crazy with colours or shapes, but everything is in the right place. And every design just feels complete. Venezianico has one of the largest catalogues on today's video, with tons of different styles, colours and sizes to fit your needs. In a world where Japan is one of the biggest hotspots for watchmaking, it always surprises me that they don't have a lot of microbrands. Seiko, Citizen and Casio are three of the biggest watch brands on the planet, so why hasn't this success trickled down to the independents? After all, collectors clearly have a thirst for Japanese watchmaking. Well, I think one brand that is certainly making some big moves and becoming one of the more prominent microbrands among collectors is Kuoe from Kyoto. The first thing to point out here is that these are made in Japan watches, which does separate this brand from a lot of the others on today's video. Next, the designs here are super classical, often drawing inspiration from the early and mid 20th century. But one thing that often stops people with Kuoe is their sizing, with the brand mostly offering pieces between 35 and 38mm. So for those of you who do prefer smaller pieces, this is a brand that has to be on your radar. These are a little expensive for the spec sheets on offer, but the designs here are that strong, and the Made in Japan stamp sweetens the deal. Now, this next brand did recently go for a little bit of controversy, mainly because of one Nico Leonard. Maen and Nico collaborated on the Grand Tenue, a jump hour piece using the Seagull ST17 jump hour movement. A little bit overpriced for that movement, I can't lie, but you do have to admit it's a very well designed piece. But you'll certainly find more compelling watches elsewhere in the Maen catalogue. In fact, I'd say almost every other piece. Placing them fifth today is a bold statement, but after getting hands on with every single watch that they offer at a recent watch show that I attended, I think they deserve this spot. I think Maen is a bit like Venezianico, in that they only produce really good looking watches. Again, they stay quite classical with their designs, but boy oh boy, do these things hit. Divers, dress watches, chronographs, they've got a bit of everything here. But I think the standout piece is their Manhattan sports watch. The dial features a Côte de Genève finish, which glistens in the light like a gemstone. And the case architecture matches the vibe perfectly. These are generally a little bit more expensive than other micros, but you do usually get better movements and, well, some awesome designs. Some of you may be shocked that I've only placed this micro brand in 4th place today, but that's because I need to see a couple more models from the brand before they can go any higher. My favourite British micro brand, you guessed it, Beaucroft. These guys are based out of the beautiful city of Cambridge, and two of their models, the Element and the Seeker, feature a beautiful sweep from lug to lug that mimics the look of the bridge over the River Cam. There's a clear focus on minimalism here. The dials aren't over the top or flashy, they're exceptionally well designed for great legibility, whilst also delivering plenty of character. The entire Beaucroft catalogue is on the dressier side, so don't be expecting utilitarianism here, but their watches are still extremely capable. The Element, for example, might look like your standard everyday watch, but this thing is capable of 200 meters, features a scratch-resistant coating, and offers a heavy dose of BGW9. All Beaucroft watches are hand-assembled right here in the UK. The prices are extremely fair considering specification, and they deliver some of the cleanest and sharpest designs you'll find around. Coming in with the bronze medal, a brand that holds a very special place in my heart, it's a brand from Singapore. Now, the reason why Vario scores so highly is down to a few factors. Firstly, the watches here, they're just special. They don't make pieces that look like any other brand. They cover an area of watchmaking that's very niche, but I'm one of the collectors who loves every bit of it. Everything from their trench watch to their Versa, they're all effortlessly stylish and packed with soul. Secondly, Vario are one of the best in the business when it comes comes to their supplied straps with their watches. Vario first started off as a strap maker, then watches came second. So naturally, they know what they're doing in the strap department. And finally, the owner of Vario, Ivan, is genuinely one of the nicest people on the planet. He cares so deeply about the brand, and his customer service is the best of the best. Rarely does a watch brand have all three of these things: incredible designs, brilliant quality, and a brand owner that you want to support. That's why Vario makes the top 3. Coming in with the silver medal, we have a brand from Thailand. Unlike many other countries on this list, a place not exactly known for watchmaking, but wow, do these guys put them on the map. Now, the reason why Wise places so highly on this list is because they just do everything right. I've reviewed 3 different Wise watches now, and it was genuinely hard to find a single fault with any of them. They think about every single millimeter of their watches, from specification to case to their dial designs. Even the unboxing experience with Wise is level above almost any other affordable watch brand. They have the perfect middle ground of offering classical designs, but with their own little twist. And Wise is one of the only affordable brands on the planet that uses 904L stainless steel with their watches, a much harder and more expensive grade of steel to work with. But they still keep their prices super competitive. Every single watch is hand assembled in Thailand to order, and these watches demand a very high price on the secondary market because a lot of collectors appreciate what this brand offers. So coming in at the number 1 spot, and a brand that deserves way more credit than they actually get, we have another watch brand from Singapore. Now, this watch brand is one of the oldest on today's video. They were founded in 2014 and have since released countless different models that, well, always impress. Zelos is for sure a name you've heard of before, but likely haven't fully considered just how impressive their work actually is. You see, Zelos releases plenty of models under $500, and when you compare what they offer with almost any other watch brand, they can sometimes make everyone else look like amateurs. They frequently use case materials and specifications that typically cost substantially more. They always opt for the most premium movement available at the select price point, and their designs are completely original to Zelos. They've even managed to develop their own style, which isn't easy given how many watchmakers there are these days. They offer watches in almost every single style imaginable, and they offer watches at different price points. Spend over $1,000 and you get something that feels and looks luxurious. Spend under $500 and you get something that's better than almost anything else at the same price. I'll leave all 10 watch brands linked below if you want to check out each of their catalogues. And remember, if you want to see me rank the top 10 heritage brands, remember to drop the video a like rating. And why not go and check out my top 15 hottest watches of 2025 so far video. Brilliant picks, all affordable, super stylish. Go and check it out. I'll see you over there. Bye for now.